This is Chapter 6, the execution phase. This is the first of two presentations. I want to emphasize that nothing in this presentation excuses you from reading the detail in the book. It's very, very important. These are our learning objectives in the execution phase. And in presentation 2, don't forget to download the notes. Project execution is the most noticed of all the processes. Research shows that without a doubt, the main reason CEOs failed was poor execution. The same is true for project managers. Recall, in general, the majority of a project's time and budget is spent in the execution phase. Many of the tasks and outputs created in other processes are fairly similar from project to project, but no two projects are ever executed in the same way. The following video kind of summarizes how you may feel during the execution phase.
Alright, I made it to the top. As you can hear from my breathing, I'm very exhausted. It was a steep climb. And as you can see, there's absolutely nobody here. Oh, this should be a lot of fun. My summer skiing. Oh shit! Here we go! Holy shit! Oh my god! Do I feel myself?
I love that video. So here are some common problems that you may experience during the execution phase. First of all, support for the project. Project stakeholders are not involved in the project decision-making. Unless they're involved in the project decision-making, then they're not going to support it. The project manager is inexperienced in managing people, working in a particular organization, or understanding the application area of the project. Extremely important that you serve your internship. The project objectives and scope are unclear. Now you know why that is so important when you do your charter. Estimates for time and cost goals are unreliable or unrealistic. Business needs or technology changes have impacted the project. That can be both positive and negative. People working on the project are incompetent or unmotivated. There are poor conflict management procedures. Communications are poor. We're going to address that in detail. Or suppliers have not delivered as promised. Here are the executing processes and their outputs. So let's talk about the directing and managing during the execution phase. Executing tasks for project integration management. To direct and manage projects, stakeholders need to coordinate planning and execution. They need to develop and use soft skills. Soft skills are people skills. Provide a supportive organizational culture. Cautiously break the rules when needed. Always keep your boss informed if you're going to do that. Capitalize on products, business, and application areas of knowledge. And use good execution tools and techniques. The most important output of any project is its deliverables. Recall that deliverables are products or services produced or provided as part of the project. During the project execution, project managers must collect, assess, and communicate work performance information. One of the best ways I know of is by MBWA, Management by Walking Around. Basically, it's informally observing and talking to the project team members, suppliers, and other stakeholders as much as possible. That's not so that they see you or you see them. It's so that everyone sees your interest in the project. They know that you're attentive to what's going on. There are formal communications also, such as status reports, survey reports, and course evaluations. Sample work performance data. It's a common way to summarize work performance information by using a milestone report. It can be a significant event, completing a major deliverable, or awarding a major contract. In addition to listing the milestones, the report lists the planned date for completion, usually in month and day format, the status, the person responsible for the milestone, and any issues and comments germane to that milestone. Here's a sample milestone report. Change requests. Often a number of requests for changes emerge during project execution. You got to have a process for handling every single change. So usually it's a predefined process. It's got to be part of the project management plan. There ought to be a plan for formally and informally requesting appropriate changes. QA and corrective actions. Don't forget QA, quality assurance, is all the activities related to satisfying the relevant quality standards for a project. Executing tasks for project quality management. Quality assurance includes all the activities related to satisfying the relevant quality standards for a project. Usually there's also a component of continual quality improvement. Key outputs of the quality assurance include change requests, project management updates, project document updates, and updates to organizational process assets. Quality assurance techniques include the following three. Benchmarking, which generates ideas for quality improvements by comparing specific project practices or project characteristics to those of other projects or products within or outside the organization itself. For example, training costs per employee or course rating systems are called benchmarks. A quality audit is a structured review of specific quality management activities that helps identify lessons learned, which could improve performance on the current or future projects, and cause and effects diagram, also called a fishbone diagram or an Ishikawa diagram, can assist in ensuring and improving quality by finding the root causes of quality problems. This is a fishbone diagram. Common uses of it include product design and quality defect prevention to identify potential factors causing an overall effect. Categories vary by what kind of project you're dealing with or what kind of issues you're dealing with. In other words, for people there would be different ones than from methods, than from machines, than from material, than from measurement, than from environment. It all depends on what kind you're using. Managing people is the big deal. Don't forget, these people that work on the project are acquired and developed and managed as part of a project team. Let's talk about poor conflict management. Most large projects are high-stake endeavors, and they're likely to be visible to more than one organization. When the stakes are high, conflict is never far away. And even small projects with low budgets have conflicts. It's kind of a natural part of working and life in general. Project managers should lead their teams in developing norms for dealing with various types of conflict. Each strategy below may be considered as being high, medium, or low in two dimensions. In other words, the importance of the task or goal and the importance of the relationship between the people. Both can have conflict. The first one would be confrontation or problem solving, which you face the problem directly. Second one is compromise, which is usually a give and take approach that has to be negotiated. It's not what either one wins or loses, but it's what they both can live with. Smoothing is de-emphasizing areas of differences and emphasizing areas of agreement. Forcing is a win-lose approach, which usually does not do well. And the last way of hiding is called withdrawal. It's a retreat or withdrawal from the actual potential disagreement. That can be done with individuals, but with a project, you're pretty much going to have to deal with one of the first three. Here's a little bit more on conflict. Conflict can be good. It can bring things out, such as new ideas, better alternatives, and motivation to work harder or more collaboratively. It keeps the project team members from becoming stagnant and developing what is called groupthink. Groupthink is the conformance of values or ethical standards of the group so that they say, well, if it's good enough for government work, and you've probably heard that. No conflict means that the project could stagnate. And research suggests that first of all, task-related conflict often improves team performance. Task-related conflict does, not necessarily personal. And emotional conflict often depresses the team performance. Executing tasks for project human resource management. Effective project human resource management is crucial to the execution phase. Some of the main tasks are acquiring, developing, and managing the project team. Key outputs of those tasks include the project staff assignments, who's going to work on what, resource calendar, who's available when, team performance assessment, how well are we doing, the change requests and how well we adapt to that, and updates to the project management plan and organizational process assets. Motivation usually comes in two types. There's intrinsic motivation, and that causes people to participate in an activity for their own enjoyment. That's an internal thing. Extrinsic causes people to do something for a reward or to avoid a penalty. That's usually from the outside in. Ways to influence that help and hurt projects. Projects are more likely to succeed when the project managers influence the following: the expertise on the project and the work challenges. Projects are more likely to fail when the project managers rely too heavily on authority, money as a motivator or the sole motivator, or the penalty for failure. Effectiveness was summarized by Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of a Successful Man. Those are extremely good habits to build, and I would encourage you to get into the book on page 249 and read the paragraphs about each one of those. One of the most effective personal skills you can develop is listening with rapport and empathizing as you listen. So good project managers are empathetic listeners. They listen with the intent to understand. Before you can communicate with others, you have to have that thing called rapport, a relationship of harmony, conformity, and affirming. You don't have to affirm and necessarily approve, but you should affirm. Mirroring is a wonderful little technique of matching certain behaviors of the other people, a technique which can establish rapport. So if you see someone doing something or saying something or using a certain language, you can mirror that and gain rapport. So what are the top reasons people leave their jobs? Well, most people don't leave their jobs, they leave their boss. That's you. That's the project manager. Or they feel that they don't make a difference. Or they don't get proper training or recognition for their work. They're not learning anything new or growing as a person. And what's really interesting is managers can ensure that these reasons do not occur by doing a good job of motivating and managing their people.